you
And
know.
what was the reason that you got turned on to methadone?
They told me you're not going to be sick. Though it gets you high.
Hello, everybody. My name is Pej. I'm here again today with my friend Anthony. We made a video before talking about his history of heroin use and also fentanyl use. Now we're going to talk about his addiction to methadone. So methadone it was, right?
Yes.
So Anthony, you were 18 or 19 years old. You were introduced to fentanyl. You fell out. You had an overdose. You attempted to get sober. Did you stay sober?
No, because that was after my first stint of sobriety. I struggled a long time in LA, and eventually gave up, went back to Jersey. Like, been out for about 4 years since.
Okay.
So,
And then when you went back to Jersey, you did what?
I went back to my ex-girlfriend's house. Got a job, and about in a month's time, I was instantly back hooked on fentanyl.
Because you had no recovery or anything
No
like that?
recovery, no people, no support.
And then how long were you on fentanyl?
The better half of the last 3-4 years.
And then what happened?
Well, I came here, but what really I want to talk about is I think I was around 23. It got really bad. I had nowhere to stay, and I got on methadone. And that's after trying Suboxone, I'd given up on AA at the moment. I've given up on therapy, everything, and it was like a last stop. You know?
What was the reason that you got turned on to methadone?
They told me you're not going to be sick. Though it gets you high, and
Who's they?
people that I got high with, like people that sold drugs to me, people that got high with me.
And they told you to go do methadone?
Yes, because I was that bad off.
They were basically saying you're no good on drugs.
Yes.
Go get on methadone.
Yes.
So how were you? Where did you go?
I went to a clinic in my hometown.
And how did you know to go to a clinic? Because of those people?
I had to call around, and how it works, you go to a clinic, you sit in line, they give you your methadone. You don't have to pass drug tests. You can be doing fentanyl, you can be doing anything. The only thing they care about is if you're doing meth, they won't bring you up on your dose.
And they test you each time to see what's in your
They test you
system.
3 times a week, and as long as
When you
every
say
day.
bring you up on your dose, what's the point of bringing somebody up on a dose of methadone?
Well, so
Let me ask this back up. When you go to a clinic and you're being put on methadone, is the intention to have the patient who's coming and seeing them regularly do methadone for a period of time and then become 100% abstinent, or is it to keep them on methadone and continue to keep coming back to the clinic?
more times than not, it is not about abstinence.
Who do you talk to? Was there a doctor?
A doctor, I had doctors, counselors, and really, it's a harm. They call it harm reduction in New Jersey.
Yes.
It's not about you getting sober. It's about. So I know people that have been on for 20 years. My uncle's been on for 5.
Yes.
It's more of a let's get him as comfortable and high off this stuff as possible, so he doesn't die of a fentanyl overdose, and that's how they're looking at it.
So methadone was getting you high.
So yes. So what happens with methadone? You take it. You don't really get a feeling from it until you go up to 80 milligrams. But what happens is you lose its tolerance. First time I was on it, me as a big guy, I went up to above 150 milligrams, and at that point you can't get high anymore on drugs, but you are knocked out all day.
So is it fair to say that once you go to a clinic regularly and you're taking this substance, it's a substance.
Yes, absolutely.
To reduce harm, if they feel that you are a good candidate and not doing other drugs, they will take up your dose and then keep you at a higher dose?
They don't even care if you're doing drugs. They'll take you up as much as you say you're not comfortable with, try to get you to stop. It's not about you stopping drugs.
What did you start at? How many milligrams?
30 milligrams is the state requirement to see and then you go up to 70 or 80, and then from that point on you go up 10 milligrams at a time.
And then what was the highest you were at?
180 milligrams.
I've seen people in the 200s.
Yeah, 200's around, like, you have to get an EKG. You've been on it for years usually. I was only on it for a year and all the way up to 180.
And what happens if a person's at 180 milligrams of methadone, but they can't get the proper dosage, that amount?
Nothing will get you right. There's not a drug in this world that'll make you not sick.
So then a person will become sick?
Worse than they've ever been sick in their life.
Physically, mentally?
Physically, mentally. You even can have
Emotionally.
seizures.
Okay.
Yes.
You can have seizures. So you become dependent upon it.
Very dependent.
Okay, so then what's the mindset when somebody's on methadone for that period of time? Are you thinking, I probably got to get off of this stuff one day, I don't want to be stuck on this forever? Or is it, I love this stuff, I want to be on this for the rest of my life?
That's kind of like the two ways it goes. Like, for me, I never wanted to be on for my whole life. I wanted to get my life right. But, it's either you love it and you want to be on it for the rest of your life, or you don't love it, but you have to be on it the rest of your life unless you get a medical detox. Before you know it. And what happened to me was I stopped. So you had to go every day. And if you miss 3 days, which is just so happens to be the window when you'll start getting sick from methadone, they take you back down to the 30 milligram dose.
So you got off of methadone this year.
This year, yes.
You have how many days sober?
84 days today.
And you decided that you were just tired of it and you wanted to be off of it?
Yes.
All right. How long was the detox for this methadone that was in your system?
To be fully, well, just to get it out of my system, it was over 10 days to not be failing drug tests for it. Around close to the 20-day mark, I started to feel better.
Okay. And you're young too. So.
Yeah, 25.
Okay. And you felt it in your bones and
In
everything?
my bones, I couldn't sleep. Everything. It was.
What did they use to detox you off of methadone?
Well, they only used phenobarbital because they basically essentially cold turkeyed me.
Would that be considered a comfort med?
It's for seizures.
To prevent the seizures?
Yes, prevent seizures.
And does it make you feel any other way?
Not if you're doing methadone and fentanyl like me. Like people that come in maybe, but I didn't feel anything from it. I just was so sick that it stopped me from seizuring.
When you were on methadone, could you do fentanyl?
When at this time I stayed at the right dose that I would do fentanyl and methadone at the same time.
So fentanyl could work while you were on methadone?
Yes, it's a partial blocker if you go above 100 milligrams. I was on about 80 this time. So I usually take it, wait a couple hours, and I'd go do fentanyl. And at the point where at the end I was just using fentanyl, methadone, everything on top of it.
Okay, so now at this point that you're sober and on the path of recovery, what do you think about harm reduction?
I really look at it as it's not beneficial for most. You know, most people, like if you're young, if you're not on your last leg, essentially, it's not going to be beneficial. It's like a Band-Aid, you know, but if you are, you know, homeless and have no options and or on your deathbed, maybe it'll help you. But in my circumstance, the only thing that's helped me is a plan of recovery, you know, because I can't take something that a doctor gives me to stop using. I'm just going to find a way to use on top of it.
Have you ever been on long-term Suboxone maintenance?
No, I never could take it long enough to. I always get my prescription, and I would want to get high and just not take it one day and go get high.
Okay, and what do you think of long-term Suboxone maintenance?
I think that honestly, it's not really going to help you. You know, I mean, it can help you to get clean, you know, but it's controversial. You know, if I'm going to, as a drug addict, if I'm going to go and take another substance that's the same thing as my heroin, there's going to be a time where, like, especially where...
I mean, could that substance like Suboxone be looked at as the equivalent of heroin?
It's not the equivalent, but absolutely if you aren't... So a lot of people, they aren't gnarly drug, like heroin addicts.
Yeah.
It gets them high, you know, and that's where some people get hooked on it. With me, it just stops me from getting high. I don't feel any effect from it.
Okay.
So either way, it's just not beneficial in my mind for me or somebody who's getting high off of it.
Does it feel good to be free from methadone addiction?
Absolutely.
And all other addictions?
Absolutely.
Life is good?
Life is great.
You're 25 years old. You're on the path of recovery.
Yes, I am.
Okay. I really want to thank you for coming and transparently talking and openly talking about your experience with not just your past addictions, but also being on things like methadone and getting off of them. If you're somebody that you know is struggling, you can always call me at 310-596-9356. We'd love to be able to help you. Methadone addiction is definitely real. There's a lot of people out there that are often talking to me and wanting to get off of it. They just don't know how to go about it. Obviously, the detox is not pleasant. It's not easy.
Like, you can get through it.
You can get through it, and it's possible. Thank you for tuning in today, and more videos to come.